How's everyone doing? Today I was going through some of my movies and I figured I would do a quick video and show you my bootleg DVDs that I have. I had a whole bunch that I actually got rid of over the past year or so just because a lot of them actually got releases. All the ones that I have of the bootleg DVDs were ones that were either super out of print and I'm not going to pay over $100 for a DVD, or ones that were never released to Blu-ray or DVD. They only had VHS format and I wanted to get them on DVD. So I was going through them and I'm like, okay, a bunch of these ones finally got released. I'm going to get rid of them. And I wouldn't sell them. I would just basically give them to people. If somebody traded something with me or bought something from me, I would throw them in as extras. Because a lot of these movies I never thought would get a Blu-ray or DVD release, like The Bogans. I never thought that would get a release ever. I'm glad that it did. I'm glad that a lot of these movies are getting releases. But I'm going to go ahead and show you the ones that I have right here that still don't have a release. And I'm right here in my little corner. And this is this right here is all horror Blu-rays. That's all horror DVDs right here. And then here's some Arrow video releases. And then here's some Disney Blu-rays right here. Then there's a mixture of stuff down here. There's some old DVD steelbooks that I have. And some different horror DVDs. And all kinds of different. Here's some of the Spanish metal packs right there with the liquid. That's for Silver Bullet. There's Candyman. I really love those. I still think DVDs have the best editions so far. As for everything that's come out, there's been so many really cool DVD editions. Recently, they've been coming out with some good Blu-ray editions, but still, I think DVD has the best collector's editions and designs like that. And also, let me know if you have any bootleg DVDs. I know if you went to conventions and things like that, there would always be tables and vendors that had them. Because, again, there's a lot of ones that are rare and out of print that they don't sell anymore. So people make copies of that. And there's ones that only are on VHS. So a lot of them are VHS rips. Or there's ones that are only released in other countries but not here. Things like that. But let's go ahead and check out my DVDs right here that are bootlegs. Most of them are horror. There's a couple that aren't. But we'll start off right here. There's a few sites that were around over the years too. Some of them have been shut down. There's still a couple that are around. I'll talk about them. I get some off of there before. There's been other people who've made copies for me too. First up is Ghost Town, which I love this artwork. I got this from a seller on iOffer. I think it was Halloween Hell 666 or something like that was his username. And I thought this was actually a really good one. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I think it's something about kind of during the Wild West and these ghosts are coming back, and I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. I think this one deserved a release considering all the movies that have come out recently. I wouldn't mind seeing that one get a release. And again, that cover artwork is awesome. If they do a release for it, they should use that. I like that better than the original cover art was I think it was a skeleton with a kind of a cowboy hat on and a gun. I don't know. I just didn't think that was as cool as this one. That's just awesome. That's Ghost Town. Next up is Blood Beach right here, which I love the person that did this. The cover artwork could have been a little bit brighter. The color's kind of muted, but I like how they put up a New Line Platinum series up there at the top, make it look like an official release. And yeah, a lot of these ones, people think bootleg DVDs are cheap. No, a lot of these ones are $15-20 around there. I mean, sometimes you can get, if you buy multiples, you can get them for 10 to 12. But it all depends. These aren't cheap, or at least they weren't back then. But yeah, Blood Beach is one that I've always really enjoyed. I definitely think this one deserves a Blu-ray DVD release, an official release essentially. It has Burt Young, Paulie from Rocky in there. There he is right there. And it's kind of like Tremors a little bit. There's this creature sucking up people from the beach, and I've always liked that one a lot. Next up is Blood Diner, which this finally got a release on a multi-pack, but it deserves a standalone release. I have the German digipack for it too. Dragon was the brand for that one that released it. Love the heck out of this movie. One of my all-time favorite movies. I remember seeing this in the video store. I think I saw it when I was in Germany too as a little kid. I think this is the German and Australian cover art. The US one, it's just this symbol right here, the Blood Diner. It doesn't have the guy right there. But I love the heck out of this one. This is one, if you like cheesy 80s horror and horror comedies, this is definitely one to check out. It's kind of I think it initially was supposed to be a sequel to Blood Feast, but then it kind of turned into kind of a parody. You know, Ishtar, Sheetar, This is just Uncle Anwar is great here. Everything about this movie is hilarious. I highly recommend this one. There's so many great memorable moments and scenes in here. The scene where he's running over the guy. I mean, just it's awesome. It's basically brothers who are cannibals who are trying to raise this Egyptian goddess. It's nuts. It's awesome. I love the heck out of it. One of my favorites. And I don't want to spend too much time on any one particular movie because I have a bunch to go through. But this one right here deserves a standalone release. Somebody needs to put this out on Blu-ray. You know, you've got all these movies coming out on Blu-ray now that, you know, I think there's certain ones that I'm like shocked that I don't think really even deserve an official release, while other ones are getting, you know, kind of looked over and don't have releases yet. Like this one right here deserves releases over so many more that have been already released. I mean, put this out, Scream Factory, Olive, even Twilight Time. I would pay for, you know, I think Twilight Time's overpriced personally, but I would totally pay the money for this one right here to get a good transfer on it. And I'm chilling in my boxers, of course, because I hate pants. There's my banana boxers right there. I know my leg was kind of in frame, so I figured I'd go ahead show you that if you want. And the next few are ones that I got from my buddy Vance on here, V-Nice. Also known as Spalding 069. He's been on here for a long time, does great horror updates, and I would definitely recommend checking him out. He's an old school horror YouTuber on here, and he hooked me up. I bought these ones from him. He gave me a good deal though, and I like that he put them in these clear cases. The Red Centaur, this is one of those really good ones from the Toe Tag, I believe. It's one of those ones that was like ridiculously overpriced too, so I'm glad that I was able to get this from him. It's probably the best one of that whole of all those different ones that were kind of popular. I think it was Toe Tag, right? I think it was, but I think it was my favorite out of all of them. I wasn't a big fan of a lot of their stuff actually, so that was one of the few exceptions. Great movie. Return of the Living Dead Part 2. This is the one that had like the original soundtrack. I know it has it does have an official DVD release, but not the one with the original soundtrack, which is why I picked it up. This one, I mean, I love the first one. It's my all-time favorite zombie movies, and this one right here is right there for me. It's just as I crushed your head. It's just not quite as good. I like the first one a little bit much. This one is hilarious, great zom-com. It's a little bit more over the top and a little bit more kind of tries to one-up itself a little bit. The Brain, which is, this deserves a friggin' release. Holy moly, how does this not have a release? I haven't seen this one in a while too, but it's just fantastic. And out of all these movies that are getting released, I'm going through this, I'm like, how does this one not have a release? This is definitely one that deserves release. If you haven't checked out The Brain, do yourself a favor and do it. It's awesome. The Midnight Hour, which is another one. I think this one had a DVD release, but it's like ridiculously overpriced. It goes for like, if you can find the DVD, people are asking like $100 for it, which is crazy talk. But it's a fun movie, great cast in here. LeVar Burton's in here, a whole bunch of Dick Van Patten, a whole bunch of recognizable faces. The one guy from 21 Jump Street, was that the guy? I don't know, but there's a bunch of recognizable faces in here, and this one is just a crazy, great Halloween movie as well. Great to watch on Halloween. I think it takes place on Halloween night as well, and there's all kinds of creatures coming out. There's even a leprechaun in here, I believe. Just a fun time on that one. Blood Tracks. I remember seeing this ages ago. This was pretty nuts. I can't remember exactly. It's from the makers of Nightmare on Elm Street. There's, I guess, kind of like, I think it's cannibals hiding in a mountain. I think that's what it was. It's been a long time, but very happy to pick those up from Vance. Spalding 069. I kind of got to go through this as I didn't realize this was going to be such a long video. The Video Dead, one of my all-time favorite zombie movies. Just hilarious as well. Great zom-com. There's so many. It's cheesy. It's campy. I love the heck out of it. It does have a combo pack release on here with Terra Vision, which I think both of them deserve a standalone release over way other releases that Scream Factory put out. I'm keeping this one because I like to see it in its standalone like that, standalone case. Next up is Silent Madness in 3D. This is it has the 3D and 2D version in here, and I think the UK has this, but it doesn't have the 3D version. The cut was kind of weird. It's different. So the 2D cut doesn't have everything that the 3D cut has. It's kind of weird. I wish somebody would pick this up and kind of like meld everything into one. There are a couple cool scenes in here. I remember with like the axe throwing, and like I think the scene in particular with the back of the van. It has a good 3D shot in here. I thought this is actually a pretty good low budget slasher. Again, if it had a good print that was cleaned up and I think some editing issues too. So if that was fixed, I think that would be a great slasher actually. Hide and Go Shriek. Right here. It's been a while since I've seen this one too, but I remember being pretty decent. Slasher. Next up is Rocktober Blood. Cheesy. There's a bunch of these rock kind of slasher crazy horror movie ones going on. This one I think just got an official release. I gotta pick that up. I think I'm gonna actually get rid of this one. I think this one was slightly above average for me. It's another kind of Christmas slasher movie. It's not my favorite of the genre, but I'd say it's above average just slightly, and I'm a sucker for these kind of movies, so I think I'm gonna pick up the official release for this. I'm gonna put this over here to finally let that one go. Pledge Night, which again I think has a release in the UK but not here. Cheesy, crazy, ridiculous. I like anything with kind of fraternities and colleges and things like that. I was in a fraternity at Rutgers University, and it's always kind of neat to see that and what really, you know, how they play up certain things in movies like that. And Barbarians, this one was kind of, I can't remember those twins, what were their name? The Barbarian Brothers, I guess is what they went by. But they were popular in like the 80s. They were in a couple different things, I think. And it's just kind of like a sword and stone kind of action movie, like Conan Barbarian-esque. The Dark, which is what I love the heck out of this movie. This definitely deserves more recognition. It has Stephen McHattie in it. A couple other recognizable faces in here too. I think Stephen McHattie is a very underrated actor. He's getting a lot more work lately. Great Canadian actor as well. And this movie I thought was really good. There's a creature underneath the cemetery, and I love this one. The Elves with Dan Haggerty, cheesy Christmas horror, Nazis and elves. Look at those crazy, creepy elves on there. And there's Dan Haggerty right there. This one's actually a lot of fun. I think that one deserves an official release as well. The Brain Eaters, which is one I loved growing up. I still love the heck out of it. It's been a while since I've seen it now, but this is one I remember watching like late at night on like AMC or some kind of channel like that. It's great sci-fi. I think it's like these invisible things like hook onto the back of your neck and kind of takes over you. Great kind of alien invasion type movie. I love sci-fi horror. Rawhead Rex, which does have an official release, but I think it went out of print really quickly. So again, DVD copies go for like over $100 for it, and I'm just not gonna shell that out for it. I love this movie. Super cheesy, from Clive Barker. Great creature feature. I believe it is an Irish horror film as well, and this one is just awesome. Look at that. Look at Rawhead Rex. Definitely out of like this one definitely deserves an official release as well. Somebody pick this one up. Scream Factory, Twilight Time, Olive, I don't care who. Arrow does a lot of great work as well. Pick up Blood Diner, pick up Rawhead Rex, pick up a ton of these ones that I'm mentioning. Iced, this was like a blind buy when I got it. This was a site, I can't remember the name of this site right now. I don't know if it says on here, but they were really well known for doing their bootlegs. They went all out. They laser printed on the discs as well, so it was super legit. They were more expensive. They were like $20 plus shipping, but sometimes they would have sales. I can't remember the site. It was a well-known site a few years ago, but this movie actually was not very good. I was really disappointed in it. Again, I love horror movies with a snowy setting, which is what attracted me to it, and I've always wanted to see it, but it was a disappointment, and the plot was terrible. I'm just keeping it because it was a really nicely done job bootleg-wise, and that site was always really well known. It was the only one I ever got from the site, so I was always kind of bummed that it went out before I could pick up more from them. Symphony of Evil, right there. This one was crazy. I don't remember. I'm not sure if this was an Australian horror or not. I have to double check. It's been a while since I've seen that one. A lot of these ones had releases in other countries, again, like I said, but not here in the US. So I think that might have been the case there, too. Next up is Purple People Eater with Neil Patrick Harris. I believe he was in here as a kid, right? Am I making that up? No, I'm pretty sure he was. Yeah, Shelley Winters, Ned Beatty. This was just a really fun, cheesy family movie. I remember watching as a kid. It's been a long time since I've seen it. There it is right there. But that one doesn't have an official release here on DVD, so had to pick it up. Next up is The Serpent's Lair with Jeff Fahey. It's basically about a succubus, and that chick was ridiculously hot. Oh my gosh. What is her name? Lisa B, I guess? Is that Lisa B? Is that who that is? But, oh, smoking hot. And there's a couple scenes in here. I remember watching this when I was a kid, and I was like, yeah, I gotta pick it up, because there's certain scenes I remember. I was like, I became a man several times over watching her. But yeah, and that was a good job on this. Whoever did that, this bootleg did a really good job on the releases. I only get the bootlegs if it has, you know, cover art and things like that. Like the Poughkeepsie tapes needs an official release too. That movie is fantastic, one of the creepiest movies ever. I need to pick that up on bootleg just because I need it in my collection. But that deserves an official release, and so does the original Incident in oh my gosh, Incident in Lake County, Alien Abduction, the one from like the early 90s or so, the mid-early 90s. It was a found footage horror movie, alien abduction movie, which was fantastic. I think in the UK it goes by like the McPherson tapes. There was a recent horror movie called Alien Abduction as well. That one was nowhere near as good. But yeah, that one deserves an official release too. This is Night Flyers right here. This to me is like Event Horizon meets Mommy Dearest. It's the best way I can put it. It has James Avery, may he rest in peace, Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince, a few other recognizable faces, but a great sci-fi horror movie. Really crazy. Always dug the heck out of that one. Now the next few ones are ones that I got. The next 5 are ones that I got from a site called Revoc, and they're still around. They actually just redid their site, revoc.com, so check them out. They do a great job on their releases. Tix does have an official release. I actually picked it up on Blu-ray. I believe it was from Olive, so I'll probably be getting rid of this one. But I just wanted to show it because they did a great job on their releases as well. There's the artwork. They put artwork on the discs and stuff too. So if you're looking for things that are out of print or don't have an official release, I would definitely recommend checking out Revoc.com. They've been around for a long time, and I would definitely highly recommend them. And Tix is an amazing film. Has Alfonso Riviera from Fresh Prince. Who else is in here? The little redheaded kid, Seth Green. A bunch of other people too, but cheesy, great horror fun. Love this one. Never thought this would get an official release. So glad that it did, though. Next up is Moontrap. This one was alright. I remember not liking it as much as I used to remember it. As Bruce Campbell and Walter Coing, and it was alright. It's decent sci-fi. Nothing great though. I remember watching it when I was younger, and I think I liked it a lot more from my memory. And watching it, I watched it again like a year or two ago, and it just wasn't quite as good as I remembered it to be. Terra Vision, love this film. This used to be on TCM a lot too. I remember watching it then. But it's super creepy and cheesy and a lot of fun. Has some recognizable faces in here. Mary Roranov, a few other people too. This has a double feature, like I said before, release from Scream Factory with the video did. I think it deserves a standalone release. I'm not a big fan of double feature sets like that. I'd rather have them have their standalone releases if they're not related. And I think Terra Vision and both the video did are better than a lot of the ones that they put out with standalone releases. The Keep, which is from Michael Mann, who's a fantastic director. This definitely deserves an official release as well. I believe this is another like Nazi kind of take two twist in there, the plot-wise. And love the heck out of that one. It's been a while since I've seen you to revisit it. Very happy to have that one. And next up is 2020 Texas Gladiators, Joe D'Amato film. I believe this is another kind of like a post-apocalyptic movie. And I remember being kind of action, exploitation-esque kind of fun. And I'm a big fan of post-apocalyptic movies. And again, those are the ones that I got from Revoc.com. Definitely check them out. One of the few good bootleg sites that are still around. Next up is the original The Woman in Black. The one with Harry Potter was a remake. This one right here was fantastic. Highly recommend this one. Super creepy and eerie. Great ghost story. I love the atmosphere in this one. The atmosphere is freaking amazing in that one. That deserves an... I think maybe it was in the UK it had an official release. I'm not sure if it was one of those ones that was like out of print going for ridiculous money. Next up is Alabama's Ghost. I don't even remember this one, honestly. I need to rewatch it. I guess that's not a great sign if I don't remember too much about it. Next up is Fangoria's Weekend of Horror. This was from 1986, one of the earlier horror convention... this is like basically a documentary. It's just showing the convention and just the guests and how different it was then to now. And this was really awesome. This I would love to see get an official release too. And I think a lot of conventions should do that. They should do kind of like a, you know, going through and showing the guests and going through the lines and doing little kind of like documentary spots. And then you can sell them. And if you were there, obviously you'd want to get them. And for people that weren't there, they can see the experience of it. And I think that's an awesome idea, and this was really cool. The Mutilator definitely deserves an official release. I'm going to try to go through this quickly now. Really good slasher. Radioactive Dreams, post-apocalyptic movie. The two brothers, both of them I think were in different things. I can't remember their names right now, but they've been in other stuff. Not too great, but okay if you're a fan of post-apocalyptic films. Deathstalker and Deathstalker 2, I won this from... This guy keeps changing his channel name. I can't keep up with what his name is right now on here, but really great guy. He's been in here for a while in the community on YouTube, and I won this in a contest that he had years ago. Great kind of sword and sorcery movies. Next up is The Outing, which I think is another one that Scream Factory released in like a multi-pack feature. I think it was on DVD where it was like 4 films or something like that. Love the heck out of this one. Also known as The Lamp. Always love this one. I would love to see this get a standalone release. Can't say enough great things about that one. Eyes of Fire, which I don't really remember too much. I think it was something... I think this one had something about Native American... Or no, this one maybe was something about a witch or something. I don't fully remember. It's been a long time, but I'm going to kind of go through these quickly now. Munchies, kind of like The Critters. Really fun, cheesy, kind of horror comedy-esque movie. Little creatures right there. That one was one that was out of print for a long time, but I think they re-released it, so maybe I should pick up the new one for the Open House right here, which has Adrienne Barbeau, a few of the recognizable faces. Pretty good slasher film. And next up is Mom, which was pretty fun. I think she was kind of like a werewolf creature. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember this one being pretty good as well. And next up is Halloween 666, which I got from a user on here. I can't even remember what his... He changed his username a bunch too. He was like a Swedish guy, I believe, or maybe it was Norway. It was a Norwegian guy. My apologies right there. But this one right here was a great cut. It's 5 discs in here: producer's cut, director's cut, rough cut, television cut, and then a bunch of special features as well. So really nice, heavy set where it's multiple discs in here. I appreciate that. I know they recently released the box set. I haven't picked that up yet, but I probably will. I have all the movies already, but I'll probably break down and get the set. And I also want to show 2 Blu-ray bootlegs that I have as well. They're from HD transfers, but they don't have Blu-ray releases over here in the States just yet. At least, well, I'll go ahead and show both of them. The Video Dead, again, has a dual release from Scream Factory, but I really wanted just a solo release, and I like the way that looks right there. So I should get rid of my old DVD bootleg, but I've had that old DVD bootleg for so long. I kind of have grown attached to the memories of watching it, but I just love the way that looks. I like having that in my Blu-ray collection as well. I wish they would get a standalone release. I think it deserves it, and I think Terra Vision does as well. But Fright Night 2 does not have a Blu-ray release here. I'm not sure if it does anywhere, but this is from an HD transfer, which is why I got the bootleg from it. I had an old bootleg DVD for it as well, but I got that. The DVD, they had an initial release, but it went out of print and goes for ridiculous money. So there you go. There's my 2 Blu-ray bootlegs right there. So there you go. There's my bootlegs. My DVD bootlegs, mostly horror. Let me know what you think of these movies. Which movies you think deserves a official Blu-ray and DVD release. And if you have any bootleg DVDs, let me know as well. Leave me a comment down below or a video response. Hope everyone's doing well. Take care. Sublime, sublime.